Hey there, my name is David Lee, and for my instructional materials exhibition, I want to share with you what I've found out about digital storytelling tools. So, we know that storytelling has always been a significant part of history. Our lives have been surrounded by stories, but the means through which the stories have been told, now that's evolved with each civilization. From the oral stories presented by the ancients to the works of scribes of long ago to what we currently have in newspapers, news outlets like CNN, and now the internet, the personal narrative has always been used to communicate the events of the past or to tell fictional stories of the future or even to share ideas. And the evolution of how a story is shared has been changing drastically in the past 15 years. There are a lot of definitions of digital storytelling, but the one that I believe fits my presentation the best comes from EdTech Teacher, which is a collaborative team of educators from across the country who are trying to leverage new technology to support learning. And they state that digital media now combines tradition with technology, allowing students to tell stories through voice, text, images, audio, and video. Digital stories allow students to take a linear series of events and turn them into a multidimensional experience. It encourages them to communicate, collaborate, and research as well as to infuse media into the process. A plethora of tools and apps exist to create these projects, and all of them enable students to gain a deeper understanding of history as they explore the most effective way to retell it. For my selection criteria, I'm borrowing a lot from Henry Vincent, the founder of Learning in Hand, which is an educator's resource for mobile and digital learning. He developed a hybrid rubric for evaluating educational apps. He tried to make a rubric that could be used for a wide range of purposes, knowing that apps can be used to drill and practice a discrete skill or present information, and there are even apps that help users to create. Here's what he chose to spotlight as he was evaluating a potential application or a tool. He really looked at the relevance, the app's focus, whether or not the purpose of the app was appropriate for the student. He looked at customization, whether or not the app offered flexibility to alter content and settings for the student's needs. He looked at feedback. Would the student be provided specific feedback and have an opportunity to redo their work? He looked at thinking skills. Does the app encourage the use of higher order thinking skills, which include creating, evaluating, and analyzing? He looked at engagement to see if the app motivated the students to use it, and sharing. Were students able to share what they created, save it in the app, export it to a teacher, or even an audience? Now, the app's rubric score is very dependent on the intended purpose of the app and the student's needs. Learning in Hand provides links to thorough rubrics and checklists that help evaluate the quality of an app for an intended purpose. But perhaps more useful than a rubric is a checklist. So he developed one using what Palm Beach County Schools and edudemic.com already created. The checklist addresses both instructional and technical aspects of an app. The bottom line is what makes an app effective is one that does what you need it to do. And it's even better if it's inexpensive and engaging, which is what he focused on. And chances are he realized that not all apps would receive all checks on the list, but in general, the more checks, the better the app is for education. So those are what I would use for my selection criteria. When it comes to digital storytelling tools, there are a plethora of tools out there that are available on the Android marketplace or even the App Store. EdTech Teacher provides an awesome extensive list here, which can be sorted by price, device, rated on usefulness, and ease of use. So it's a very simple way to get a couple of ideas on some different apps to use for storytelling. Some really neat things about the apps are that the apps can be made for all sorts of internet users or technology users, from beginners to experts. There are apps or tools designed for various ages and audiences and even purposes. So that's always important when trying to figure out who you're going to tell your story to, uh, how you're going to do it. And there's freedom of expression. There's so many formats to tell a story. On the right side column here are a list of cartoon or comic tools that are, I think, would be really popular for elementary age students. Powtoon is an awesome one that allows you to create animated videos that go along with your story or presentation. It takes all of the animation and programming and it does it all for you. It's really cool if you ever get a chance to check that out. And even this picture here from My Story Maker, which is Carnegie Library from Pittsburgh, developed this app to help students tell stories. Um, they give you a list of characters and items, objects, and settings that you can use, and you can write this story. And what's really neat is you can decide how the characters interact with the scene and the items and the objects, which is just a really cool tool. For I can really see this being used for early elementary age children. And I think another helpful tip is that there are so many resources out there that will work well together with digital storytelling tools. Like if you needed to find um, pictures that are royalty free, you could use Wikimedia Commons or Flickr. Most of the work there is licensed under Creative Commons, which just allows you to pull images off the internet and not have to worry about getting in trouble or anything like that. There are websites like Jamendo, which allow you to pull legal music that you can use in your presentations. The Library of Congress and National Archives, so many images, videos, all free and available for you to use and help telling your story. As far as instructional use for digital storytelling tools and applications, here's a list of things that you can use to incorporate within your classroom. Hopefully, the tool will be used to add value to what you're doing in your curriculum. Some examples are you can create a virtual tour of a country or historical place, create a public service announcement to an important or local or world issue, simulate an interview of a historical character, simulate a debate on a historical topic, create a presentation based on images of local artifacts and architecture, or even what my students are doing here with VoiceThread. They're creating digital summaries of picture books and chapter books that they've read to address some of the state standards that we were going over. I wanted to teach them a different way to come up with and present a summary other than just writing down a summary on notebook paper. So why digital storytelling? I think in the end, there's this temptation to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. This I'm, thinking about what we talked about in Dr. K's class, but it will be tempting to look at a language arts state standard and look at an app and try to make the app fit the standard because that's what we think we should do. It's this idea that we need to infuse technology with learning at all costs, but that's what we want to avoid. We instead want to ask, how can this app work alongside what we want to teach? Does using a digital storytelling tool add value to the assignment? Can the assignment be better with it than without? Will it ultimately help meet the purpose or the goal of the assignment or what we're trying to teach? And in the end, I think we'll see that digital storytelling tools will help do that. Not only will we address 21st century skills through our discussions, we'll be practicing what it means to be a 21st century learner. The 4 C's come alive in projects where students collaborate to solve problems. They find better ways to communicate their stories. They critically think how to use and collect the resources at their fingertips, whether it's video, audio, images, to really creatively tell stories using the applications that will challenge them to create presentations that will be appropriate to their audiences. And I think the students will constantly be working on what it means to be a digital citizen while they're doing this. And then by using built in features to share stories with audiences in a far more effective way than text could ever do. And I think if you add to it the added benefit of being able to receive feedback like my students did with their VoiceThread summaries, and then be given chances to review and then give chances to correct their work or defend it or even just open up dialogue. I think individuals already possess this innate desire to leave their mark on the world. And what better way than to tell a story or share an idea in the exact manner that you intend the audience to receive it? Because that's what the customization of these tools have to offer. You can finally communicate really what you're trying to say in the most effective way. And I know it's kind of a cliche, but the world is literally at their fingertips. It's neat, and I'm pumped, and I hope you uh, find something worth investigating in digital storytelling tools. Thank you.